Nathan Ragovan is the Director of Cloud Infrastructure at Oracle for South Africa and the SADC region. Nathan, it's good to see you again. It's crazy times that we are living in at the moment when you look at this incredible digital transformation that's taking place. I think many companies, well, nobody really saw what was going to happen in March with the lockdown and everybody working remotely. Yeah. This acceleration that you're seeing, there was a sharp increase in March and April. Are you still seeing this digital transformation happening? What are you seeing happening out there from an Oracle perspective?
Yeah, Aki, it's exactly that. There's still an increase. I mean, I look at it this way. The future has come early. I think we are 5 to 8 years earlier into the future. If you think about schools, more schools are online. You think about more trade has been done online, of course, via electronic means, and more services are delivered online, telemedicine, tele-lawyers, and digital acceptances and signatures. And so this is definitely increasing. It's definitely accelerating. And so, of course, this ushers in, the new normal that we keep on speaking about and hearing about. Yeah. I want to say, of course, on this journey, digital transformation journey, I want to say that we should ensure as technologists, as vendors, as this industry players, we should ensure that the human element, the people element is tightly woven into this digital transformation and journeys that we are all on and in. And so, enterprises today, they exist because of people. So we need to ensure that the people element stays tightly woven into these digital fabrics, Aki.
Nathan, when you use the word new normal, everybody's using new normal, right? But there's no alternative word to use, right? Because this is the new normal. I mean, I wish somebody would come up with new terminology, but it's the reality. And it's all driven by data. And I guess that we're all trying to figure out, where we're going to take it. Where's the next step? Where is this new normal going?
Oh man, I wish I had a crystal ball to tell you, but just from my perspective, we talk about data, the new normal, and what that all holds for us, The truth is data has become the new global commodity. Data has surpassed the value, they say, has surpassed the value of oil. But in itself, data in itself is useless. It's the capabilities, it's the machinery, it's the tools, it's the people, the processes, when correctly employed and deployed to extract value from it. That's the real critical part. Yeah. If you think about World War II, right, there was the Enigma machine. A lot of data was coming towards, the Allied forces. A lot of data was intercepted, but they needed a Bletchley Park. They needed an Alan Turing to break the code and to gain value from data. So again, data on its own is fairly useless, right? But we need the right technologies, people, processes to ensure that value from data is extracted. And really, that's where enterprises, enterprises need to capture the value of data. And again, employing the right technologies, people, processes, and of course, partnerships like ourselves, in that process.
Yeah, no, it's interesting you talk about the enterprises, and I actually wonder to myself, I mean, many of them have been on this journey, as we've been talking about for a long time, adapting the data, but how ready are enterprises? Are they adapting to this new change? Are they keeping up with this new change of pace? Are they, for example, understanding what the customers are wanting? Are they interpreting this data in the right way? Because I'll tell you, one of the big things I'm picking up on is the readiness, number one, of these enterprises. When we often talk about customer experience, it's kind of interwoven, right, with all of the data that you're talking about. How ready are these enterprises for this journey that everyone is going on?
Look, I think, when the pandemic broke, I think many enterprises, many of our customers, many businesses were out there, they were ready, and some were caught napping. And so, going into the future, I think everybody's woken up to the fact that, technology is here to stay. That digital is going to play perhaps the bedrock of all future business models, and of course, how we serve our customers and how do we deliver value to our customers. And you mentioned customer experience. I think customer experience is going to be the single biggest issue for all enterprises and businesses out there, business leaders out there, to ensure that they can stand out. You can have the greatest technology, the greatest people, the greatest brand, but if you can't deliver true, exceptional, rich customer experiences, I think you're going to fall behind, you're going to be left behind, you're going to perhaps drift into irrelevance and obsolescence. So customers are really facing this big challenge of how do we now scale, how do we change, and shall we call it pivot? I hate that word, but anyway, shall we pivot? How do we pivot and change our business models to ensure that rich customer experiences are delivered to their customers and to our customers? And some are ready, some are not ready, but I guess all of us need to become more ready.
Yeah. Look, I mean, Oracle is one company that's, you guys are so data driven. You take all those data points, you make sense of them, and it's kind of difficult for some customers. I think most of the customers get it. In fact, we all get it. The data is the oil, data is the most important thing. How are some of the challenges that businesses face around data be addressed? How do you make it easier for your customers from an Oracle point of view to really understand this importance of the data that we're talking about? And it's because it's really a big challenge, isn't it? I mean, if you just look at the vast amounts of data that we're creating, I mean, that in itself poses a massive challenge. Kind of Oracle as a thought leader, you guys understand where it's going and how it needs to be addressed.
Yeah. So number one, the biggest challenge on all serious business leaders' minds is security. So top of mind is security. Like we say in real estate, location. I think in the digital economy, it's going to be about security. And to give you a little bit of a fact, right, Aki, 45 to 50% of the world's enterprise data resides in an Oracle database out there.
Wow.
And so to your point, we understand data. We understand the constructs of data. We understand, how to manage, secure, and validate data. And so I think we bring a lot of capability to our customers to ensure, their most prized asset is protected, is secured, and we can build a moat around the data. Yeah. And of course, the other issue, like you mentioned, is volume, right? So data is just exploding. I call it, the 3 V's, so volume, variety, and veracity. And the question to our customers is, are you ready? Are your systems equipped? Are your people equipped to handle this new, volume of data, variety of data, and of course, the veracity? How good is that data? Does it mean anything to you? And so, Oracle fits perfectly into that world of how do we monetize? How do we make sure data is secure? How do we make sure that our customers derive value from data?
You talk about this digital transformation and how customers are driving this digital transformation, because at the end of the day, it's the customers that are moving forward. They're saying these are the demands that we want. Oracle adapts according to those particular demands. What are those important points that you're picking up with regards to businesses that really need to consider with this transformation that we're talking about? And it's really a strategy, and we're really going on to the unknown. But what advice can you give to those businesses and that are going along this particular journey of transformation?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the biggest issue or the most important aspect of the future is going to lie in partnerships. So my advice and my caution to our customers and to enterprises out there is to ensure that you pick the right partner. There's a saying that says, don't just follow the headlines, follow the trend lines. And, today we hear the headline is, we are the biggest cloud provider, we have this, we have that, we are so much bigger, so much better. But the trend line really here is customers are seeking partnerships and technology partnerships that can deliver value across the entire enterprise, not just infrastructure, not just platforms, not just business applications, but they're looking towards the market and they're looking towards us as an industry player for a complete suite of solutions that they can again employ and derive value from, and of course to take their businesses into the future. And what we saw in the past, and this is another thing I'm seeing, what we saw in the past, we spoke about service sprawl. 5, 10, 15 years ago, there was service for everything, a server for that, a server for this, a server for that. And today we're seeing the same thing again happening. There's a cloud for this, a cloud for that, a cloud for this. And so this is where Oracle comes in. Oracle is uniquely positioned in the industry, so we can deliver a cloud service the way our customers want it. In their data centers, behind their firewalls, private clouds, public clouds, a hybrid cloud, and we really are uniquely positioned. Nobody else, and we say this boldly, but of course with respect to our competitors, that nobody else out there in the industry can deliver what we can deliver to our customers.
Yeah, but Nathan, at the end of the day, this is all about security, right?
Yeah,
And you know, you got everybody working remotely. You know, customers. I mean, most enterprises are pretty thin spread at the moment.
sure.
And you often talk to experts and they say that security is the Achilles heel. A lot of the stuff is being automated in the background. And I know that at Oracle, you guys have got quite a bit of a sophistication happening in how you protect the data because it's critical. And, you know, I don't care how big an organization is, it's not if you're going to be hit, it's when you're going to be hit, right? And you, if you follow the right rules, obviously you eliminate a lot of the threats. But when you look at some of the security breaches that we've seen in the last few months, when you look at the ransomware, when you look at you know, people working remotely, there are so many vulnerabilities out there. How are you guys helping your enterprises, your customers, better protect their business data? Because if you get your data compromised, and you know, if you look at Popey in the background with all of this playing out,
Right.
there's some serious
Right.
implications. Data is important to make it secure.
Yeah, I think it goes back to my earlier point. You know, where security is the new hot topic. You know, for all, like you said, you know, serious business leaders. You know, and again, you know, like I said, 45 to 50% of the world's enterprise data resides and sits in some Oracle database out there. So we understand, you know, the implications and complications of data.
Yes.
And so our customers are looking to us and you know, asking us, how do we ensure our data is protected? Because everybody's after our data, right?
Exactly.
And so at every layer of our technology, whether it be infrastructure, whether it be platform, whether it be business applications, at every layer there is security built in. There is security top of mind, encryption, you know, masking, redaction, all these security technologies that we're familiar with, right? So we ensure that security is built in, and it forms the premise, it forms the bedrock of all our development, of all our technologies that we release out into the market and to our customers. So again, you know, I believe that we are again uniquely positioned to ensure that our customers, you know, can sleep happy at night and can sleep peaceful at night. One of the great CEOs of the country, one of the big major banks, he recently said the one thing that keeps him up at night is cybersecurity, you know, data security. And so
Yeah.
that's where we come in. We ensure that we could, you know, protect, validate data, make sure data is good, and of course, ultimately ensure that value is extracted out of the data for our customers.
But Nathan, I mean, cloud is your game. And I was just talking to somebody the other day, also actually a banking official, and we were just saying, imagine if this had happened 10 years ago. We would have been in a completely different space when we look at the cloud and how mature the cloud has become. But at the same time, we're still undergoing quite a bit. You know, there's still, you know, people are kind of focusing. It's happening in the hybrid space. There's private cloud. There's, you know, public cloud. But what advice can you give with this cloud journey that many organizations are going on? Yes, there are challenges. Yes, cloud adoption is at an all-time high, I would imagine, at Oracle, and you can just see the numbers globally. What's your advice on that cloud adoption and where it's going, and what organizations should be doing with regards to the cloud?
Well, number one, from a cloud perspective, right, Aki, I have coined this term, and hopefully one day I can make millions out of it. But anyway, I've coined it cloud inclusivity. You know, many customers out there, they want to experience the value of cloud. You know, the elasticity, the self-service element, the provisioning, etc. You know, they want to, but because of legislation, regulation, data sovereignty, or residency issues, latency issues, you know, time sensitivity issues, you know, they can't experience the full value of public cloud, you know, capability and value. And so that's where we come in. You know, we like I mentioned earlier on, you know, we can deliver a cloud experience to our customers the way they want it. So we've basically brought the public cloud capability and value to our customers, and then we plonk it, shall we call it, in their data centers, behind the firewalls, and we run and manage and operate it as if it was sitting somewhere else. And that takes care, of course, of all the regulatory issues and residency issues, time sensitivity, etc., etc. And so, again, you know, unique in the industry. That's what we bring to our customers, and that's what they've been asking for. Everybody wants to participate, but some are going to be left behind, and we've really listened to our customers to ensure that, you know, we have solutions that will make everybody part of this cloud journey. So there's a cloud in their data center, managed and delivered by us. There's hybrid cloud, of course, private and public, and then there's
That's
hybrid
right.
in between. And of course, then there's the full public cloud suite that we offer to our customers, and many thousands of customers are enjoying it. In fact, the very technology that we're using right now, Zoom, is one of our biggest customers that is on the Oracle Cloud Infrastructure.
Really, that's interesting. I'd love to know
Yep.
the stats on how much data is going through those Zoom servers. It must be quite astonishing when you consider every day how many people are using this platform.
I can tell you anecdotally, it's probably in the petabytes of data, per hour, per day. So if you pay me enough, I'll get the data for you.
No, listen, I find it fascinating. When, pre-COVID, we weren't talking petabytes. I mean, people spoke about petabytes occasionally. Now it's just an everyday occurrence. When you look at all of these video servers and the amount of data that's being created, it's quite astonishing. And just the other day, I was in one of our big data centers in Isando, and it's astonishing just to realize how much is happening in those data centers. And, most people now coming online, putting data centers on African soil. I guess that's making a massive difference from a latency point of view and a data sovereignty point of view. But right now, you've got a lot of these C-suite executives, CIOs, CISOs, CXOs, I mean, all the C people that are making all these strategic decisions, watching this particular video, listening to me talking to Nathan Ragovan, who's the Director of Cloud Infrastructure at Oracle. What advice can you give these executives as they navigate through these very challenging waters right now and this incredible transformation that's happening around us? And I guess the sense that I'm getting is a lot of people are being very strategic about the next move and where it's going to go to.
Yeah.
So where do you see this landscape? What advice can you give these C-suite executives?
Aki, from my perspective, I mean, we interact with many executives on a daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly basis, and we hear many different perspectives, many different fears, many different opinions, and the one thing that is common amongst most of them is inertia, is the notion of let's wait and see. I had a lecturer in during my business studies. He said, and I'll repeat it the way he says it. He drops his glasses like this, and he says, "We are living in a world that is constantly and rapidly changing." And so my advice to these C-suite executives that we constantly interact with and engage with is, don't sit back and wait. The future that we spoke about is here, and in fact, it's changing so rapidly and constantly that inertia or the indecision is going to lead to ultimate irrelevance or obsolescence. And so, of course, you need to be prudent. Of course, you need to have governance when it comes to investment decisions and technology adoption. But don't be too strict and don't wait too long to make a decision. I have a wife and 2 kids, and these guys, they want me to make a decision as quickly as possible. Of course, all these things need to be calculated, and like I said, with governance and of course with prudence. But the biggest issue is wait and see, the wait and see attitude, the wait and see mentality. So we're living in a world that's changing. It has changed, and who knows what the future holds for us. But let's be sure that we have data that can lead to decisions, and then decisions can be made quickly and with immense predictability and of course value once a decision has been made. So inertia is the biggest issue. I would say C-suites, take your time, think about it, do your due diligence, but make a decision sooner or later.
Nathan, are you still finding that gap? When we talk about all this transformation, we talk about money, and a lot of budgets that were planned, in 18 months from now have now all been brought forward. Are you still finding that the C-suite guys still have to make a good argument to a board level for them to get the finances to make these things happen? Are the guys above that, guys at board level, are they understanding how important strategically this digital transformation is this year in particular?
I think a lot of executives, not just CIOs and CISOs and executives involved in technology, are tech savvy. I think CEOs, CFOs, CMOs, CHROs, all these C-suite executives, there's a big appreciation for technology. And back to my earlier point, yes, there's still a lot of governance, there's still a lot of, bureaucracy in getting decisions made. But I think everybody's woken up to the fact that, if we sit back and wait, our future might be irrelevant, or we might be irrelevant, our competitors are passing us by. There's a saying that says, it's not the big that eat the small these days, it's the fast that eat the slow. And so that is, we see these executives, making decisions slow still, but I think everybody's woken up to the fact that, decision making has to be, has to increase, and it has to be made very quickly. But of course, we appreciate, we deal with a lot of enterprises, a lot of listed organizations. There's a lot of governance and committees that, decisions have to be taken through. But I think, everybody's woken up to the fact that, decision making has to increase.
Nathan, I know that you focus on the SADC region as well, and I mean, you look at South Africa. We're a pretty mature market. How are our neighbors faring when it comes to connectivity and the cloud infrastructure? Because I know many of those routes come through our data centers over here, but of course there are latency issues, and connectivity has improved dramatically in the last 5 years. We need to be honest, but for South African companies doing business with the neighboring countries in the SADC region, are they okay with the connectivity issues that we talk about?
Aki, it is amazing, right? So the one way for you to learn anything is to really experience, to learn about anything is really to experience it. And, I've traveled extensively across SADC and many other countries in the world. And particularly SADC, right? When you get there, we read headlines, we read news and snippets, we hear, stories about it. But until you get there, you really understand that, we're dealing with true professionals on the other side. They are so committed in ensuring that, they are not left behind. And so, yes, of course, latency, bandwidth, and data center capacity in the rest of Southern Africa is an issue. But that, takes me back to my earlier point where I spoke about, we bringing the cloud capability to our customers. And that's really what we call cloud at customer, So customers that can't, appreciate and fully participate in public cloud, that's where, we take it to them. Many customers also, might I say, will perhaps never adopt a fully cloud model. And so again, we fit a perfect space for those customers. We have a perfect solution for that. Many customers, unfortunately, in SADC and the rest of Africa, they still, want to feel and touch and hold onto infrastructure. And for those customers, we have standalone solutions and infrastructure product solutions that is perhaps better suited for them as opposed to public cloud or even hybrid cloud. So our neighbors, definitely our counterparts in Africa, they are so eager to adopt and so eager to experience, the benefits and the value of technology and digital and of course cloud capabilities.
Nathan Ragovan, thank you so much for sharing those insights. Nathan Ragovan is the Director for Cloud Infrastructure at Oracle for the South Africa region as well as the SADC region, sharing some fascinating insights. Nathan, thank you for your time. We wish you well at Oracle and success going forward.